People podcast of the DMV. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about we and God we trust. Sir Rod and Lady Z. PTP. Positive thinking people. Positive thinking people. Positive thinking people. Every Monday night.
Every Monday.
Every Wednesday night.
Every Wednesday.
Every Friday night.
Friday.
Every Monday night.
Monday.
Every Wednesday night.
Every Wednesday.
Every Friday night.
Friday
Every
night.
Monday night.
Monday.
Every Wednesday night.
Wednesday.
Good evening. Send peace and blessings to you. Peace and blessings. Okay. It's Let's Talk About It Wednesday. You know, it's the podcast of the DMV. Your host, Rodney Grimes, coming to you. And my topic today is being prepared for what's to come. Being prepared for what's to come. And this is going to just really something you can relate to. When a lot of times when I come on, I just be thinking about what's the message that we need to get across? What are the things that we need to focus on? And how do we move forward? And so riding in from work, talking to my wife, I was talking about some things that we need to get prepared for. And the reason why I was talking about that, because I'm thinking about what's to come. And that applies in all areas. We talk about being prepared mentally, physically, and spiritually. All of us who are struggling right now, we are struggling because we weren't prepared. And you will continue to struggle until you get prepared. And that applies in all areas. I just talk about things that I know is common sense. It's common sense. So how many of us are really prepared for what's going on in the economy? How many of us are prepared for what's going on with children's education? How are we really being prepared for tomorrow? How are we preparing for even if it was another pandemic that hit us like the last one? Are we prepared for that? Are we prepared for something to happen in the country that would devastate us? Are you prepared financially? Especially, are you prepared mentally and spiritually? Are you prepared for what's about to come? We have a tendency to not pay attention to it until it's too late. You know how they say, give me my flowers while I can smell them. You know, that's almost like being prepared to come and give somebody their reward so that they can say thank you. How are you preparing yourself for what's to come? How are you preparing yourself and preparing those behind you? How are we prepared? Sometimes I'll be trying to figure out, what messages I'm going to bring, and especially when I don't have a guest. I can tell you that being prepared. Hopefully, this is my direction to go into September prepared, because I'm lining up some real good guests to come on. We're going to start posting them and putting it out there to acknowledge, the ones that's coming, and have it so that we can be prepared, because we have to be prepared for tomorrow. We're not promised tomorrow, but don't go to sleep on it. You got to be prepared. You got to be prepared all the way around. Let's talk about the financing aspect of it. How many of us are preparing ourselves for the change in the way that the economy is coming at us with the prices going up? How many of us were saving money? A lot of times when I'm talking to you, I'm talking to myself. I'm telling myself the same thing. I'm trying to reprogram myself to be prepared for what's going on. Hello, Miss Colvin. How you doing? Good evening. I send you peace and blessings. The topic today, being prepared for what's to come. You have to think about, what if you get sick? Are you preparing your family members? Are you preparing yourself for the possibility of you dying? How many of you have life insurance? How many of us have that? How many of us paying attention to that? Or if you was in an accident, having a conversation with your family members about what you want done and how you want it done. What if you was to get in an accident and you couldn't talk? Have you prepared people for what possibly could come? Have you talked to your children and tell them what you want? And are you showing them how to be prepared for what you might need or they might need? We have a tendency to take everything for granted. We take a lot for granted. We take going to sleep at night. How do we do that? Well, you just think about when you get prepared and you get prepared properly. Things start to work in your favor. Because then it's almost like every time that I iron my clothes at night and get everything ready, even if I wake up in the morning and I wake up a little late, I prepared myself to be able to jump right into it, get it going, and start my day. When I get up in the morning, first thing I do is thank God for another day. I'll be trying to prepare myself for what could come throughout the day. Putting God first and saying, you know what, I want to try to move forward. What I'm saying is this: are you prepared for anything that could happen tomorrow? And I'm going to tell you something. Half of us are forgetting what happened yesterday. Now, they would tell you what's in the past is in the past. But let me tell you something. The past also plays a part in your travel in the future. I'm talking about in marriages, in your friendships, all kind of relationships. I'm thinking about something that happened a long time ago that's now haunting me in today. And I wasn't prepared for this. I wasn't prepared for it. All I'm looking at is now I'm just trying to navigate through it, and hopefully, it'll be okay. But if I had prepared myself, I'd be able to handle it a little better. I'm not going to get in specifics. But are we being prepared? Are you preparing yourself for the new relationships? Are you preparing for, your spiritual walk? It's important. And here in this country, again, we got to be prepared. We take a lot for granted. If you never left out the country, you never seen other people maneuvering in countries outside of here, third world countries, you'll be better prepared for when you maneuver here. You wouldn't take so much for granted. My topic today, are we prepared? Are we prepared for what's to come? I was thinking about some of the relationships that I've had with people. I've been talking to different ones, trying to, get them to understand where I am. Good evening. Peace and blessings to you, Brenda. Down in South Carolina. Love you, darling. My topic today, being prepared. When I say be prepared, it's not just you, but it's the things around you. You have to be prepared for. You got to be prepared for if you have a stroke. A lot of us individuals who may have some kind of illness come on, they wasn't prepared for it. And then when it happens, you basically left not knowing what to do. We have to think about being prepared for everything. Everything. Starting with your mental health. One of the things I've been preparing myself for is this. I'm not going into the rest of my life worrying about things I can't fix. I'm not going to go into the rest of my life worrying about people who are not worrying about me. I'm not going to worry about things that I know is not for me. I'm preparing myself for my journey here mentally first, and navigating down into my physical, and most importantly, spiritual. That's what I'm preparing myself. I have by times when I go into meditation, or we can call it prayer, or just go into some solid time, and I'll be trying to prepare myself to be ready if I was to transition. Because that's something else that a lot of us don't prepare for. We think we do, but we don't know what happens after you close your eyes and that body isn't working anymore. We don't know what kind of journey you're going to be on. We read the Bible, we read the Quran, we read all kind of different things. But for real, and I'm talking, let's keep it real. Nobody for real has come back and told you how to be prepared and what goes on. Nobody. And you have to prepare yourself. Now, I'm not talking like I don't believe in the resurrection of Jesus Christ and stuff like that. Don't misinterpret what I'm saying. I'm talking about in this day and time. I want you to go back. You can ask you can ask anybody that's been on this earth as long as you, and tell and ask them, how do they really know what happens after you die? Do you? So my point is, you need to be prepared for what's to come. You need to be prepared to just even be able to close your eyes and be able to say, you know what? Yo, I left the earth with a clean spirit, with a clean heart. You know, the same thing when you walk down the street. You know what I tell young guys? I tell them, you got to be prepared for what's to come. Meaning, don't go out here and start trouble. Don't treat nobody bad. Treat everybody good. So that way you're not looking over your back. You put yourself in a position that as you move into the days to come, you are prepared to be able to walk and keep looking forward and not have to keep looking behind you. And also even in your relationships. What happens when we get into them and you've been in them a long time? Are you prepared for when your stomach start getting big? Your women, your butt start to sagging, your teeth coming out, you know, changes of your body that you just didn't look, and then one day you woke up and you looked in the mirror and said, golly, look what happened to me. You have to be prepared. It said, Brenda, you said treat everyone with love and kindness. That is so true. You're preparing yourself. Do you know being prepared, when you conduct yourself accordingly, and they say you reap what you sow. Whatever you put out comes back. That's being prepared. Put out love, joy. Put out respect. And it comes back to you. My man Mark, how you doing, my brother? The man with the clothing line is moving and making changes. Mark is getting prepared. Mark is getting prepared for his future. Mark is getting prepared for what's to come. Mark is trying to move in a direction where he's giving a clothing line out here that's really preparing for success, to leave a legacy. Excuse me. Being prepared for what's to come. All I'm just saying, we each, you know, we're looking at everything that's going on around us. We're talking about even the politics. Are we prepared for what's to come? I'm telling you, we ain't paying attention. Not until it's too late. We wasn't prepared for that pandemic. We was in the house, struggling. People were hungry. And people weren't prepared for where we are today. Because what happened? A lot of us got used to not working. Got used to laying around. Now, You see the prices, inflation is just moving, and people struggling, running crazy. We weren't prepared for what's coming. Mark, you said doing well, my brother. Appreciate you, bro. I'm in talking with you you very shortly. Okay. You gotta excuse me. I'm gonna need some water. I'm throwing that out there. I'm gonna need some water. See, let me show you something. This is the prime example. I'm telling you, don't you love God? God always try to show you. If I was prepared, I would have had me some water right here or my tea, so that when my voice, when I'm talking, that when it start to get dry, that I'll be prepared to drink, and then I can clear that out. But that's just a prime example of what I'm talking about. I wasn't prepared. No, I wasn't. So that's what you gotta do. Thank you very much. But see, you got to be prepared. I got the water now, but I wasn't prepared. So let me just take a little sip so I can clear this roughness out. Now, you see what I'm doing now? I'm getting prepared. Yes, I'm preparing myself. Now, it is what it is. We have to get prepared all the way around. And I'm talking on all levels. Get prepared in your relationships. Get prepared with your children. Get prepared with your spiritual growth. Get prepared to help one another. That's something else I was dealing with on the job. We was having a fantastic class for the last couple of days. I'm not going to really talk about that, but I learned a lot. And it made me also think about being prepared for some of the things I do in my personal life. And that's one thing that we have to focus on. The Bible says good man leaves inheritance for his children and his children's children. That's being prepared. That's being prepared. Let me tell you something. When we talk about this country and the way certain people have navigated through it, a lot of them have been prepared to make sure that their children move forward. You know what we do? A lot of us, whoever they want to be, whoever it may be, we don't get prepared. We just move, and we move in ways that we don't be ready for what's going to happen. Trying to keep up with the Joneses, buying things we don't need, instead of really preparing for the future. How many of us are sitting down with our children and talking about saving, about credit cards, talking about credit? How many of us are really preparing them to understand what credit's all about dignity, about health, mental health? How many of us are preparing them so that what's going to come, they're going to be able to deal with? We got people running around here going crazy, shooting people. My wife was just telling me some man jumped off the subway or something and was beating people with a hammer or something. You know what happens? A lot of people are not prepared for even situations like that. They're walking blind. You have to be prepared for what's may be coming. You got to be prepared for. It's almost like if you're getting ready to go fellowship on Sunday, you get prepared Saturday night. So when you wake up, you already know what you're going to wear. You already know how you're feeling. You have to be able to hold yourself accountable first for preparations. Willie Lee, let me tell you something. That is true. You have to be able to hold yourself accountable. You know what? Honestly. So let me say this. A lot of times when I'm talking to you, I don't want to try to act like I'm bashing anybody, but you're right. So luckily my wife gave me the water, right? But if I didn't have the water, I still would be coughing because my throat was drying up. Whose fault is that? I knew I was getting ready to come on. Normally I would have it, but I make no excuses. I love that you put that there, Willie Lee. You said you have to be able to hold yourself accountable first for preparations. We have to be. We have to be prepared for what's going to come. You know, one of the things that I was focusing on lately. I hope that I don't get in trouble because I'm gonna speak on something very personal. But you know, my wife lately, her family, they've been going through some real rough times, man, with transitioning, which all of us going to do, and it's going to happen one way or the other. But I just want to speak on something, and I was watching uh, my wife as she was moving, and I could tell that my wife has been doing a lot of praying. I could tell that my wife has been doing a lot of leaning on God. And I can tell because I've been watching her how she's preparing herself to deal with things that's coming or possible to come. And sometimes I find myself looking at her thinking, hey, how is she handling all this? But I think that mentally she's preparing herself spiritually. And I'm just, I'm just watching. We have no faults in life. We have lessons. You know, through the process of life, I like that. It really, man, I'm loving that. Life itself, everything, every day is a process. Every day we move through it, and we should learn something to carry into the next day to prepare us to live a better life. Every day we should learn something to prepare us for the next day, the next minute, hour. We should learn something positive so that we can be prepared for what's to come. I get on here and I talk to you and I try to prepare myself to learn how to love me better. I learn how to conduct myself better, and I learn how to treat people better. I prepare myself for the possibility of something happening to me and somebody saying, hey, you know what? I still will look out for him because of the way he was moving, preparing myself to be received in a positive way. We have to be prepared, and we have to pay attention to life's lessons. It prepares us. If we look back on our ancestors, how they was struggling. And now, a lot of times I tell you, when I talk to you from a black man's perspective. I was born in 1960, okay? And we talking about slavery and all these type things. Do you know at one time, people like me were being hung, beat on, and treated like garbage? People that look like me. And what did they have to do? They had to start getting themselves prepared for what's to come in order for to make change. And I'm not saying this for us to be bashing anybody. I'm just talking about you moving in a direction to make life better for you. I remember my grandfather and my grandmother, the things that they did to prepare for the next day. And as I watched them and I learned from them, I was prepared for some of the things that was coming in my life weeks down the road from watching, learning, listening. We have to do that. And we should not take anything for granted. I prepare myself every time that I come on and I say, what am I going to do or what am I going to say to make it a blessing for somebody else and for myself as well? So I prepare myself thinking about all the positive things that has probably went, in and out of my daily routine. And I try to prepare myself for what's going to come. Me and the wife was talking, and that's the one thing I can honestly say that we do. We communicate with one another on a regular basis, even with the good and the bad. And we talk about, moving forward. And some things I tell her I don't like. Some things she tell me she don't like. Some things we talk about we don't like together. You know what it does, though? It prepares us to move forward in a positive way. I'll be laughing because I'm gonna get ready to get in trouble. A couple of weeks or so, it was a lot of pressure going on. Like I said, my wife, a family had been going through a lot, and peace and blessings to them. Man, it's been crazy. But I've been watching my wife, and I've been watching how she's maneuvering. And so I thought, we need to slow down. We got to get prepared for, tomorrow, next week. So we start talking about it. And we start looking at how we maneuvering and how we're going to be ready for what's to come. One of them was we made sure that we got some life insurance outside of something else that we had. We got life insurance to be prepared for something that possibly is going to come eventually anyway. But I'm just saying, right? Think about that. So we had the discussion and we say, let's get prepared for what's to come. Because one thing for sure, we all going to transition. One thing for sure. Are you being prepared? Are you talking to your loved ones and telling them what you want, what you need, what you expect? Are you preparing the young ones around you just to look out for you just in case? My sons, both of my sons was with me over the weekend, and we were just talking about things, and it was some things I was, letting them know so that I could be prepared and they could be prepared for something that might come. I let my sons know if I'm in a position, I'm in a hospital, and I can't survive on my own, they try to put me on a machine, I told them, don't put me on it. Preparing my sons to be able to make that decision so they don't have to worry about it. I was telling them the things that I want them to do, how I want them, if anything happened to me, to look after my wife. I was preparing them for things that could come. No, I'm not a wizard or something. I can tell you what's going to happen tomorrow. No. But I can tell you what we can do is you can try to get prepared. And one of the things that we all have to be conscious of is that you don't know exactly what's going to happen, but you can prepare yourself in a way that you won't be walking blind. Where you won't be walking blind. You got to prepare yourself. Prepare yourself for your relationships. Prepare yourself for success. Prepare yourself to be loved properly. Prepare yourself for people to see you as an individual that means something to them so that what's to come will be a blessing. I get on here unconditionally. I get on here many times. I want to just lay down and go to sleep. Sometimes I just want to go and just walk by the water or whatever the case may be. But I made a commitment to get on with the People to People podcast, and I made a commitment to try to help myself and you be prepared. I love helping people. I love seeing people be blessed. And I love trying to put myself to be ready for things to come. Preparing myself. So a lot of us if you're struggling right now, and I'm just a man to speak facts. I'm not getting on here to tell you something that's not common sense for real. If you prepare yourself mentally for things that you know that possibly could happen, you're going to be all right. It's almost like this. We know around here where I'm at, the trash people come on Tuesday morning. What time they're going to come, I can't tell you exactly. But I know they're coming. Right? Because that's the scheduled time. So what do? Excuse me. I get prepared Monday night. I take the trash cans, like many of us on our block, and we put them outside by the curve. We're getting prepared for what's to come. Now, what happens is sometimes I'll wake up, and we wake up pretty early. I'll look outside and I can see the top flip back and it had already came. But see, I was prepared the night before for when they're going to come the next morning, not knowing what time they're coming. Same thing, same concept in anything that you're doing. Get prepared. You don't know when it's going to happen. If you're working in a situation and it's not good, start preparing yourself for it to be good. If there's a lot of negativity around you, start preparing yourself to receive positive energy. Prepare yourself to be loved and respected. Prepare yourself for you to be able to, if it was on your dying bed, that you could just close your eyes and say, my Father God, guess what? I was prepared for what's coming. Think about it. A lot of us take it for granted. We take everything for granted. Every night that I go to bed, I just thank God for another day. And I say, Father God, I pray that I hadn't let you down, and just start to give him thanks. And when I wake up in the morning, I feel pretty good. You know why? Because when I went to sleep, I was prepared possibly to wake up. Because when I open up my eyes, I say, Lord, thank you. Thank you. Now I'm preparing to move into the day. I put it out there and ask God to have it so that through my journey, that I be a blessing for those around me. I ask him to, to bless my family so that we could be prepared moving into the day. I know I get on here for an hour, and sometimes people always say, I listened to a little bit of what you said. Guess what? Sometimes all it takes is for you to read the topic of what I'm talking about and then reminisce on your own. But be prepared, because some of the information I give you is going to prepare you for what's to come, so that you'll know, you got to make the difference. You can't, if you don't cut your own grass, it ain't going to get cut. And you're going to have to be prepared to pay somebody, or you're going to have a lot of grass in your yard. You got to prepare yourself when you take a shower or take a bath. You got to wash your hair. You got to prepare yourself for somebody to want to put their hands in your head. We got to prepare ourselves even going into relationships. Prepare yourself for what's to come. Do a little background checking. Find out, if they wash between their toes. You know what I mean? Be prepared. Ask questions. Check into people's background. Be prepared for what's to come. We got a lot of people getting relationships, did no investigation on these individuals or nothing. Wasn't prepared that you just got into bed with a lunatic. That after you done gave your body to them, man or woman, then in a couple of weeks, they're going to be chasing you with a baseball bat, telling you what you can and cannot do. Because you didn't prepare yourself. You didn't prepare yourself to check what's going to come or be ready for what's going to come. One of the things that I remember early in the relationship that my wife said to me, she said, these are some of the things that I'm planting right now in your mind for you to understand that I will not accept. You know what she did? She prepared me for what she didn't want to come. She prepared me. She prepared me for something that will come if I did certain things that she didn't like. So what I'm saying is, just make sure that you really take the time to be prepared. Prophet Sherman Harris said to me in a conversation one time, I can't exactly remember where we were, but because I hear him speak here and there, and he said, You know, Rodney, he said he get prepared every night to get rid of his faith. He said he gets prepared to get rid of it. You know why? Because he be preparing for the next morning for his new faith to be stronger. He be getting prepared for that. It says if you're over 50, one should be running from a baseball bat. Yeah, it said if you over 50, one should be running from a baseball bat. No, we shouldn't be running from no baseball bat. If you prepare yourself, maybe you might be the one holding it. I ain't doing no. I'm preparing myself. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to relax. I'm trying to enjoy life. I'm preparing myself for love, peace, and joy. I'm preparing myself to keep, to be respected as an elder. And that's so true. You better prepare yourself before dating anyone. Come on now. I'm talking about when you prepare yourself for tomorrow, it's to benefit you. It's to benefit you. I'm preparing something along with some family members. I'm preparing something. I'm going to get really deep into it. But you know what I'm preparing I am getting prepared for? That's going to come? Some love, joy, laughter, some blessings. I'm getting prepared for that. I'm getting prepared for it. I'm setting the tone for that to come. What I'm telling you, if you get anything from this message today, be prepared for what's going to come. Have conversation with your loved ones, your daughters, your husbands, your aunts or uncle. It says, that's no one, my bad. Oh, okay. It says, so if you're over 50, no one should be running from a baseball bat. I got you. Hey, if you ain't, hey, Lee, let me tell you something. You're right. Over 50, you should be walking on the golf course somewhere chilling. I love that. I love it. We shouldn't be running from no baseball bat. Believe me. My son, as you say, well, what is it like being 63? Let me tell you what I told him. I say, after you hit 50, let me tell you something. All that nonsense, it goes away. We prepared ourselves through that process to say, now I'm not dealing with it. We not doing no fighting, fussing. You ain't bringing that garbage in my house. No, don't ask to use it for you to abuse it. No. I'm preparing myself for what's to come. Guess what? To find joy, peace, and happiness in my life. After 50, I'm trying to tell you. And 90% of us who reach 50 and move forward, we start preparing ourselves for what's to come. Because you know what? We already know we ain't promised tomorrow, so we don't even know how much more is coming. So we trying to enjoy what we got left. Yes, you plant another one, will water, and God gives the increase. Yes, you plant another one, will water, and God give the increase. And I know sometimes when people be putting the messages on here, they might be typing fast or whatever. So kind of, you bear with me when I be reading it, because I know that they mean we catch on. A lot of people are afraid to stand in the mirror and allow God to strip them for preparation. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Lee, you talking to me right now. You talking to me. I was thinking about that myself. Am I really ready to be prepared for God to strip me, to make me be what I should be, what he wants me to be? Am I prepared? A lot of times we're not. We're not prepared. We become self-centered, thinking that somebody owe you, thinking that it's just going to fall out of the sky, thinking that your children just going to automatically take care of you. How your kids going to take care of you if you let them smoke Love Boat in your house? What you preparing them for? You're preparing them for to hit you in the head with a hammer. Some of these things I say in a jokingly manner, but just look at the facts and the truth. If you ain't praying with your kids, you're not preparing them for what may come. You're not preparing them to be humble and selfish. One man plants another waters, and God gives increase. There you go. That's true. We be preparing. What we do is we prepare each other for what's to come. The young boys that be going past my house, I be getting them prepared. I talk to them. I encourage them. So that they won't walk down the wrong path, so they could be prepared to be men, good, respectable men. I walked the road that they was on. Sometimes wasn't prepared for what was coming. Found myself running from the police. Found myself in a situation where I was doing something I wasn't supposed to. I wasn't properly prepared. You know, we got to take the responsibility, as it was said earlier. Yes, one man or one woman plants the seed and the other will water it. That's us together. One plant, the other water to fertilize it to grow. And God does it in a way that it really, really moves in a good way. It says, look into the mirror, okay, and imagine you not what you really look like. You can't see you like another see you. We always see an image. Okay, let me read that again. It says, look into the mirror. It's an image of you, not what you really look like. You can't see. You see like another see you. We always see an image. Well, I can tell you what I do know. If you prepare yourself properly and you walk with the grace of the Holy Spirit, when people see you, they know what's coming. They know that that's a man of God. That's a woman of God, because of the way that you prepared yourself in your walk. Yeah, if you run around here selling drugs and doing devilish things and everything, guess what? The image that they see what's coming. They see self-destruction. They see carelessness. You have to be prepared. You have to be prepared. So all of us, as we move forward, be prepared. You know, every time that I come on here, I'm prepared for what's going to come. Yes, because I put myself out there. But see, I'm okay. I don't have to look behind my back. I ain't robbing and stealing from nobody. I ain't running around ducking and dodging. I ain't got no codes on my phone. I ain't doing nothing that I got to be ducking and dodging for. You know what I'm doing? I'm being prepared for what's to come. I'm being prepared for the possibility, if I was not to make it into tomorrow, that God would say, you know what, Rodney, I saw you trying to be prepared to come and be with me. I saw you trying to be prepared to be a good example for your kids and your grandkids and the neighbors' kids, the kids up the street, around the corner, the fellow man, being prepared. All I can just say, you know, God is good. He said, Jesus and people is a bright light. I can say this. I was having conversations with some individuals. A good brother. uh, Moravian. That's his name. Um, and we was talking. I was telling him about all what was going on a couple of weeks, man. We just was everything was coming, and I honestly, I realized one of the days I was having a meltdown. What was happening was I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared to accept the fact that possibly God was preparing me for what's to come, for how I was going to be dealing with things. When I talked to him, he was like, yo, did you stop and think during the process of everything that was going on that you was being prepared to be able to help somebody go through what you're going through? And then I start to think about it. And I said, man, you know what? I'm getting prepared. I'm getting prepared for what's to come. People to people. Power to power. Positive thinking people. Getting prepared for what's to come. I'm trying to get prepared. I hope y'all help me. Go to YouTube and subscribe if you haven't. Let's get prepared. Let's get prepared to take people to people over the top. Come on. We start in September. We get ready to start coming at you. We're going to be having a good lineup of individuals. That's why you've been seeing me kind of like not at the studio. We still got the studio. We getting prepared. And all I can just tell you is that during the process of where we moving, I hope that you're being prepared too. Be prepared to show your loved ones some good times. Not all the time giving them drama and hate and despair. Be prepared to put a smile on their face. You know, me and the wife lately, boy, we've been preparing each other, man. We've been having a good time preparing each other with conversation and love. You know, I didn't prepare myself. Here I go again. I'm going to get in trouble. My wife said to me when she went out of town, I wasn't calling her like she wanted me to. And what happened when she went out of town, I wasn't prepared for her to be gone. And so during the process of everything was going on, I wasn't traveling right. I wasn't functioning right. And so when she came back and she said something to me, I realized, you know what? We got to be prepared next time. We got to be prepared so I know what to do, because I don't want my wife not understanding how to deal with what's next to come. The morning when she wake up and I'm not there. That the night before I didn't prepare her by saying, hey, I love you, babe. Thank you for being my right hand or my left hand. I'm trying to tell you just in a message, not bragging or nothing like that. I'm just trying to tell you, be prepared. Prepare yourself in your relationships with your loved ones. Be prepared to with your children. Get them prepared for what's to come. And to your grandchildren, stop letting the phones guide them. Get them prepared for what's to come. Because I'm going to tell you something. Y'all not paying attention. But everything is repeating itself. It's just in a different dynamic. A lot of you think you're free. You think that you're prepared to walk freely. But you're being dictated to in so many ways, guiding you. Because you're not prepared. You're not paying attention to the real reality of things. If you get prepared and pay attention, you'll start seeing what's to come. You'll see. You know why sometimes I get nervous? Because I see what's about to happen in the next couple of years for those who are not prepared, who really don't see what's coming. I'm talking about physically, mentally, and more important, spiritually. Get yourself prepared. And, you know, if you got anything that's lingering, you know, just rattling in the back of your head and your life that you haven't straightened out, go ahead and get it straight. I took care of something that was bothering me for a few years. Guess what? I'm sleeping better. I prepared myself. I prepared myself to be able to wake up with a smile. Brother Rodney talking, he tells the truth. Thank you. I give you nothing but I give all my glory and praise to my Father God, my creator. I'm just telling you. So many people have come up to me and said thank you. No, I thank them because I prepared myself to be a blessing. When I do that, that's what I'm saying, what's to come. See, I don't have to look over my back. I look forward as I walk. Every now and then I turn back because you're supposed to not forget where you came from, but always know where you're going and be prepared for your journey. Be prepared for your relationships. Sit down and talk to a person before you lay down with them. Sit down and find out. I'm talking this for the young, boy, this for young and old, because sometimes it don't matter how old you are. Sometimes you just ain't thinking. But you got to be prepared so you know what's coming. Sometimes you just got to make sure. You know how you get a cup of coffee? Most of the time when you get a cup of coffee, what do? You sip it in the very beginning with a little sip because you're trying to prepare your taste buds to see if you're going to enjoy it or not. And if it ain't what you want, what you got to do? You add a little bit more cream or a little more sugar to make it so that as it flows, when it's coming to satisfy you. You have to do that in everything. We have our Bible studies on Sunday. Let me tell you something. We be getting prepared. We be getting prepared for what's to come. Please, 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 please share. Hit like. You can go on YouTube and watch People to People with Rodney Grimes. You can also go on Roku, Tap TV, and watch the programs. You can also see it on Facebook, LinkedIn. But we ask you to go to YouTube and subscribe. We're trying to be prepared for what's to come. You know what's going to come? We setting up for the podcast of the DMV to be a platform for you, me, and them. For us to be able to talk about the things that's coming. Motivation Monday. We talk about things motivating people, trying to get them prepared. We talk about on Wednesday. Let's talk about it Wednesday. We get prepared for what's to come. Sharing information. I met a brother yesterday who's going to be coming on the program. And this brother has a story to tell that's going to blow your mind. I didn't even want him to talk to me too much about it yesterday when he gave me just a little snippet of what he's been through. And I'm going to tell you something. When you hear this brother's story, it's going to get you prepared to think about what possibly could come. Because he has a story to share. So my message to all of you, please be prepared. And as Prophet Sherman said, he said, I want to put this back on you again. Be prepared every time when you lay down before you go to sleep. Say, Father God, I'm getting rid of that faith that I had today. I'm getting rid of it. Because if you bless me in the morning to open my eyes, I'm going to be prepared to come with some stronger faith, some more positive faith. I'm going to be prepared tomorrow to be a better me, to deal with what's coming. I'm going to be prepared. And if we do that, all of us, we're going to be able to look and see when things is coming and know when to duck or dodge. We'll know when to look back. We'll know when to stand up or sit down. We'll even know when to shut up. Told my wife today, I said, baby, I say, sometimes just tell me to be quiet. She said, what'd you say? I said, sometimes just tell me to be quiet. Because sometimes I just feel like I got to say something. And sometimes I just need to be quiet to see what's about to come. Sometimes I just need to chill. Sometimes I just need to count my blessings. And that's it. Be prepared to be able to say, thank you, Father. Thank you for another day. And whatever you call him, whatever you call a creator, and if you don't call him anything, you just believe that it's an energy in the sky. Whatever. Just be prepared to give him glory and praise. Be prepared to receive the goodness. Because I'm gonna tell you something. If you don't be prepared, you're gonna be blindsided when you see what's coming. Because there's something out there for you if you ain't ready for it. And relationships and everything that you do, you got to be prepared. I send peace and blessings to you. It's people to people with Rodney Grimes. This is what we do. Excuse me. I got some water. I wasn't prepared at first, but I got some now. I'm clearing the throat as it go. You know, I'm trying to get a little prepared. You know, let me tell you something. When I say prepared, I'm gonna show you how I'm being prepared, right? So the other day when I was getting ready to close, I wasn't paying attention because I'm working off of 2 computers, right? And I wasn't prepared to look over to see what I was doing, and I cut the sound off. That's because I wasn't prepared. Guess what I'm doing now? I'm being prepared for what's about to come as I'm getting ready to end. Okay? I'm getting prepared. I said peace and blessings to you. Love you. Hey, go to YouTube. Hit subscribe, hit like. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. Some people just put them on there. Tell them when they land in the bed to go on YouTube and listen to some of the programs. Listen to what we're talking about. It's all positive. People to people, power to power. Positive thinking people.